Hello, my name is Carlos Abdu, live from PAX East 2016 for the Bookshelf Entertainment, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Dan Nichols, and I am from Blue Mammoth Games, working on Brawlhalla.
Brawlhalla! Over here is a beautifully animated 2D platform fighter. I believe that's the vernacular we're using right now, because Smash clone is a little bit too derogative. Where did Brawlhalla started?
Okay, so Brawlhalla started as a concept a couple of years ago. We were trying to figure out how to make PvP happen in one of our previous games. And one of the prototypes was this kind of 2D platform fighter thing that ended up being really fun. So we kept making it, and it kept evolving, and now we have Brawlhalla. So we're now a 2D platform fighter, and it's just kind of changed the way that players play it. So yeah, here we are.
In terms of 2D platform fighters, of course, the biggest one being Smash. Right. So that's an obstacle every 2D platform fighter has in front of them. How do you contrast compared to that?
Well, it's one of those things. It's like we all grew up with Smash Brothers. Like we love Smash Brothers. It's a great game. But it's kind of what we run into with a lot of different games now, where you have the genre and the game that defined it, and now you're having people who are iterating on it. So that's kind of how we feel with it. You know, it's very familiar when you pick it up, but we definitely have a lot of our own mechanics. We pulled a lot of things out from Smash that we didn't like. We put a lot of things in that we think players will really react to. And so, you know, we started with that baseline of the good mechanics, and then we just started making our own game.
From the footage that I've seen so far, it seems one of the basic the mechanics that has differentiated from Smash is better recovery options and more variety in weapons. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so we definitely have more recovery options. So you have double jumps. Every character has up to 3 jumps. You can get all of your jumps back by touching a wall or touching a soft platform. So there's a lot of freedom of movement. And then additionally, each character has 2 different weapons that change their moveset based on when you pick them up. So the dynamic between changing movesets throughout the course of the game is very fluid. And it's one of those things, it feels really comfortable for new players picking it up for the first time. They're like, oh, I have a weapon, I'm hitting somebody. And for the people who have, you know, played for hundreds and hundreds of hours, it gives them those extra options and depth that they're looking for.
How many characters are the initial roster?
Right now we have 22. We're working on our 23rd character who will be out on Wednesday. We're making a barbarian who's going to have the sword and axe. And then we're just on the schedule right now being free to play. You know, we like to make a lot of new content. We're always updating the game, always patching. So we have a new character coming out every month for the rest of the year.
One of the other noticeable differences is this beautiful 2D animated design that you use for the sprites. It's very noticeable. It caught my eye immediately. I like the designs. I actually want to get to know more of these characters more. Can you tell me about why you decided to go with 2D animation rather than 3D models?
You know, it's interesting, like the whole studio has always been 2D. And it's just kind of one of the things they just wanted to do. It's like, you know, 3D is great. That's something that's awesome, but there's been this whole new level of appreciation for 2D art from both designers, you know, game designers, developers, and also players. Like, you know, there's so many great 2D games now, and it's really made such a good resurgence. So for us, you know, with the art style and everything, we really try to tap into, you know, that idea of like when we were kids watching Saturday morning cartoons, you know, like all of those different back of mind archetypes that we have, those things we love from pop culture and stories, you know, and so that's really what we try to tap into with this. And I'm not an artist, I'm not one of those guys. I love what they do. Like, it's one of my favorite things, seeing like the new designs that they're making all the time, and I just love seeing the work that they do. It's just awesome.
That being said, you're not an artist, but you were a pro player at one point in time, right?
For a while. So I did help start the competitive scene back in closed beta, which was 2014 November. I just started doing these random 1v1 tournaments with people. We would get challenges together, and what was great about it, you know, this was before I was hired, but we were the dev team. We've always been very player focused. You know, we like to listen to player feedback. We like to put in the features that players are asking for, that players want. So I mean, like we begged and pleaded and strong-armed them into making the game have a ranked mode. Like, they put in spectator mode because we wanted to run tournaments on Twitch, and we were having guys like leap off the edge, you know, and then start commentating. So like just that and being part of that community made me really excited about the opportunity to actually just work on the team and work on this game full time.
That sounds really good. One of the big controversies regarding Smash Brothers is that the director Masahiro Sakurai wanted it in one way to be casual, but the community pushes toward a more competitive. How are you trying to balance those two options for being pickup friendly while still having a strong depth in the competitive community?
You know, it's something we try to do a lot of observation between how brand new players play in those first, few hours and how someone who's been playing for hundreds of hours is playing and interpreting the game. So when we do balance patches and when we're coming up with new mechanics, we always think about how a new player is going to react to something and how a very experienced player is going to react to something. So a lot of the new mechanics we've introduced to make the game more competitively deep are built into certain things that newer players just won't think to interact with. So we have a lot of new things surrounding dodge, which is our main defensive and offensive option in the game. Because coming to PAX and watching people play, in your first few hours of gameplay, you just don't dodge. You're so focused on attacking that you don't think I don't need to dodge anything. I'm invincible, man. Look at these buttons. So we, after kind of learning that and seeing that behavior, we were like, oh, there's a lot of things we can explore with how the dodge works. And so we have a bunch of different advanced mechanics tied around something that's very simple for someone who's approaching it for the first time. And after you put some more time in the game, you go, oh, actually, I have all these choices using this mechanic. And that's kind of how we try to do things. We're always thinking about new players and the guys who played for, under 20 hours, who are still new to the game, what their experience is going to be like. But we're always in communication with the guys who are playing ranked, who are our platinum diamond players. I'm still friends with a lot of the guys who are in the top 20 because I was one of the first guys they knew when they came to the scene, and now they're, owning it and winning all these tournaments. So it's just very, we just try to communicate and listen to everybody and make sure we're not excluding one group for the other.
That being said, you did mention that this game was a free-to-play model.
Yes.
So how does it exactly work? Because it's very rare for a fighting game these days to have a free-to-play model.
Yeah.
I mean, Lord knows, Capcom kind of tried that the first time, and they had a rocky start with that. So how does your game work in a free-to-play model?
Well, it's funny. One of the things that has been said to me is everybody who does free-to-play is still always learning because it's still a very new thing. But we were basically trying to stick to what we like as players in free-to-play, which is it doesn't affect game balance, it doesn't affect mechanics, it doesn't prevent me from playing what game mode I want to play. So everything that we do for free-to-play, we only make money off of cosmetics. So if your favorite character has a cool skin and you want to buy that, that's great. We want to give you that option, but it doesn't change anything to do with the gameplay. So that's basically how our free-to-play model works. Very similar to how Smite or League of Legends does things.
What type of free-to-play DLC will you be able to buy?
So if you go on Steam, there are a couple of DLC packages right now. You can pick up the All Legends pack. I think it's $20. You can go on and it unlocks every character in the game forever. So all the ones we've released and all the ones we will release. And then there's a collector's edition that has a whole bunch of awesome things in it. So we do that for the people who are really big fans of the game. But really, that stuff's there. We just want you to play and have fun. That's always the primary focus.
And what platforms would Brawlhalla be available for?
So we're currently in open beta and Steam Early Access, so you can go download the game right now for free. We are working on a port to PlayStation, and we'll be coming to PlayStation later this summer.
And of course, I'm legally obligated to mention this question. Why not the Xbox One?
Well, it's funny, because having been a player this time a year ago, those are the questions I always used to ask. Really, it's just we ended up talking to PlayStation at PAX. They were really awesome, and we decided, hey, let's go, work with PlayStation. So we're going to be exclusive on PlayStation for a period of time, and after that, we'll see about going to other places.
How long when the open beta will end?
We're not sure yet, but we're working very hard.
And when is the game finally going to come out?
We're not sure yet, but we're working very hard. It's one of those things we really want to make sure that the features that we know players really want are in the game before we take off the beta tag.
That's pretty smart.
People can have very negative reactions to if you don't have an in-game tutorial, it's something that we're missing.
Street Fighter 5.
We want to. People don't like that we're taking our time, but we feel like it's one of those things we want to make a good game and we want to make sure that everybody is, getting to it at the right time. So we're not in a rush to say we're launching. We want to make sure we get all those features that players want into the game.
I really appreciate that. I really do. And when you come to PS4, I can't wait to play these games. They look phenomenal. Well, it was nice talking to you, man.
Yeah, it was great talking
Congratulations.
to you. Yeah, thank you.
Hope Brawlhalla, everything going right with Brawlhalla. Let me ask.
Yeah.
How many final characters, because you mentioned there's going to be a character coming out every month.
Every month.
What is your initial thoughts for a full roster?
See, that's the thing. It's like, because it's free to play, I don't know. Like, and that's one of the things I've been playing fighting games for my entire life, like ever since I was a little kid. And it's interesting because it's the way that we're making this with new weapons coming out constantly and new characters coming out constantly and the meta always changing. Like, we don't have a limit in mind. We're just going to keep going until people tell us to stop.
And it's very interesting because for some people 22 is too much, other people 22 is a little bit too little.
Yeah.
So
it's one of those things, like, we feel that players are going to react one way or the other, but ultimately it's not the roster size that's going to, determine whether or not they're having fun with the game. Most people who play it have fun, and that's one of the things that makes the game great. So it's the new characters will keep coming, and the meta will keep changing. We'll see what happens.
Thanks a lot, Dan. It's been a
thank you so
pleasure.
much.
This is Carlos Abdu coming from PAX 2016.